Paul Lafrance here, Stream of Consciousness video series, and in this video we're going to talk about how I drink only water for 21 days. And if you're curious again as to what the heck this whole thing is about, please go back to the intro video at the beginning where I explain the whole thing. Whereas of right now, I think it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes, and there's still a few more to go. So I'm going to set my 5-minute timer. Water only for 21 days. Okay, so it's important to understand that when you talk about fasting in North America, Western culture, people lose their minds. I mean, you talk about missing a few meals, and people are like, "Oh my God, like, are you sure?" Like, you go to talk about a few days with other people, like, "Well, you're just going to die." Not so. Not so much. People do this all over the world. This is a very common element, and our human bodies are actually engineered to do this. Previously, I talked about like nomadic cultures, hunter-gatherer cultures, where they would go long periods of time because they couldn't find anything to eat. So our bodies are not going to die when we don't provide it with food. Water, different story. Hence the reason why I drank only water for 21 days. So first I'll talk about the reasons why. So I talked in a previous video called The Liberty of Insanity about how I went through a kind of a rough season a few years back. Let's just say that I never put myself into the category of someone that would suffer from depression. And I certainly never thought I'd put myself in the category as someone who would suffer from ever having a suicidal thought go through my mind. But this particular season kind of erased all of that. It was a rough go. And that's a topic that I would, if anyone would like me to expound on that in a later series, I will talk about that at length. But for the sake of time, I'll have to move on that topic. What I did know is that it reached a point where I was like, it wasn't a question of this isn't who I want to be. It was this isn't who I actually am. And I knew that I had to do something to get out of it. Now, because I had done fasting previously in my life quite a bit for spiritual reasons, to elevate myself to a higher spiritual plane, call it what you will, I had experience in this nature. I wasn't going into it all willy-nilly. I did a lot of studying in preparation for doing a fast of this length. In fact, I actually had originally intended to go longer. But when you are fasting for this period, for this length of time, let's talk about the science for a minute. When you are shutting down your digestive system, you know, the first 3 days your body is going, hang on a minute, we'd like some food. But then after that, your body goes into what is true ketosis. And what happens in true ketosis is your digestive system goes into hibernation. And what we don't necessarily know or realize, I think for the most of us, is that when we're eating food and getting the energy from that food, we're not really aware that, you know, approximately 50% of the energy we're getting from the food goes back into the engine to digest the food. It takes energy to actually digest that food. So when you're fasting, and when your body is now moving into ketosis, where it is getting the energy from your fat stores, the rest of that energy, the 50%, you're getting the same amount of energy. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get a little like weak and lightheaded after a long period of time, but the energy that your body needs to function properly in true ketosis, that extra energy, that 50% that would normally go into digestion, goes into healing the body. So, when I finish this 21-day water fast, mental preparation ahead with the knowledge that coming off the 21-day water fast, you are 21 days before you are eating like you used to. This is a quick aside, if you stop at 21, you fast for any long period of time and just go and have a McDonald's or have a steak and potato at the keg, you're going to put yourself in the hospital. Like, you have to be extremely careful. Coming off the fast is actually harder than being on it. Just a quick side note. But when I came off that fast, the results were unbelievable. There was an immediate sense during the fast of the mental clarity that came, the emotional stability that came. The only way to describe this was it was an emotional, mental, spiritual, and lastly, physical rebooting of a computer. I can quickly tell the story about walking onto set, and the reason I have stopped at 21 days is because I had to be up on a roof. We were filming like Home to Win at the time, and I was up on a roof, and I'm like, maybe I should have some food before getting up on the roof. You know, 9 out of 10 humans agree. But the results of the reactions of people coming up to me after this fast, looking at me and being like they were calling me Baby Paul. They're like, your skin looks like you look like you're 10 years younger. Not just your skin, but your eyes look so clear. Mentally, I was sharp. I was clear. I have never suffered a day of depression since then, because the purpose of this fast, which I did not know going in, I knew I had to do something. This was me and God having it out. I knew that I had to do something. And the end result of this fast, I've talked about in previous videos. This was what I did in order to reach the revelation that I could actually, for the first time in my life, control what I think about. That was worth 21 days of fasting. Lot more to talk about on that topic, but I will, for the sake of time, move on. So, in our next video, we will be discussing, this is kind of a fun one, Elon Musk and simulations, in our next video.